Hey everybody, welcome. It's Timmy here with Chalk Couture, and I'm coming to you with a brand new surface that I'm super excited to share with you. It is part of our Sylvie chalkboard line, and this is, you would not believe it, but yes it is a chalkboard surface, but it's a white chalkboard with a black frame. Now usually when I create on our Sylvie surfaces, it's reversed. We've got a white frame with a black chalkboard surface. But I had not ordered one of these, and I really wanted to try it out and show you really how it can change up the look of one of our designs. And I figured, you know what better design to use than this one today? Wash, brush, floss, fresh blush. It's kind of a tongue twister, isn't it? Anyway, so that's what we're going to be working on our project here. It's going to be an easy, simple, straightforward project. And of course, any of the products that you see me using can be purchased in my online shop. If you want that address, just let me know. You can put shop in the comments and we will get that off to you. Now, before we get started, a couple tips I have for you. First, we want to make sure you have all your tools that you're going to need. And quite honestly, you don't need a whole lot. I would definitely recommend having a fuzzing cloth nearby. And whether you use one of our fuzzing cloths that you can pick up online, or you just have a terry cloth towel lying around, either is fine. What we're going to use that for is to actually add a little bit of lint to the back of our transfer. Now, if you're just watching me for the first time, I'd love it if you tell me. Put a number 1 in the comments and share if this is your first time watching. And that way I'll know how much to explain to you or give you a little bit more description if needed. Or certainly I can reach out to you and even give you some ideas of some great easy to do projects for your first time with using Chalk Couture. But as I mentioned, these are our silkscreen transfers. What's awesome about them is that they are reusable. You can wash them up with water and use them over and over again. And they can be used really on pretty much any surface. We're using them on a chalkboard today, but you can use them on walls, painted furniture. Oh gosh, really, whoops, just putting a couple of words here on the back so I know which side is the back side of my transfer here. So walls, painted furniture, wood, burlap, glass, even fabric if you want. So it can go pretty much anywhere you want it to go. And you can use it over and over again. There are some tips to make sure that you can ensure that it gets as much use as possible out of it. And I'm going to share some of those tips with you as we go on here today. But the first thing that we want to do is we want to remove the transfer from the backer sheet. So I had written the name of the backer sheet, and that's because there's a paper side of the backer sheet and then there's kind of a glossy side. You want to put the transfer back on the glossy side. So in order to remember which one was the glossy side, I wrote on the back side. See, that was my little trick. Now, the reason why you want to put it on the glossy side is because this transfer has an adhesive, it's sticky. And that means that when you put it down on your surface, it's going to stay nice and flush. It's not going to move around on you, and you can easily pull it back up and reuse it again. It also means you can pull it up and reposition it if you need to, if it's not quite straight. But the reason for our fuzzing cloth is that we actually want to pick up some pieces of lint, as I've done here, to the back of this transfer. That will basically kind of ease a little bit of that adhesive, and some transfers are way more sticky than others. I'll give you fair warning. This one feels like it's a medium stickiness, so I'd probably do this 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to just make sure that we've got kind of enough lint on this so that when I go to place it down on my surface, I'll be able to get it down where I want it to go. And then if it's not even, which I can see already that I don't think it's even, I've got it on a little bit of a slant, I can just grab a corner here, pick it up, And when I pull it, notice I'm not pulling from the corners, I'm actually pulling from the top. That's what we want to do just to ensure that we are not stretching this transfer. We don't want to stretch it because this is a silk screen. It's a fabric mesh, and we want to make sure that these letters are always going to come out perfectly every time. So if we treat this transfer really well, then we'll know we can make sure that we'll be able to use this again and again. So the other tool that you need handy is a little squeegee. So this is our small squeegee. We sell them in a couple of different shapes and sizes, but the small one's a great one to get started with. And I usually will use it dry, like I'm showing you here, to make sure that there aren't any air bubbles behind my silk screen here. I want to make sure I have really good contact and there isn't any air behind my design. Because if there was some air there, then it's actually going to leave a little bubble in my paste. So we don't want that. So we've got our surface, we've got a transfer, we've got a squeegee, we had our fuzzing cloth, we talked about that. The last thing you need is chalk paste. Now, we're going to keep this really simple today, and we're just going to use one color of chalk paste. We're going to use our black velvet chalk paste. So this is a water-soluble paste. It's made out of chalk. When you open it, it usually has a seal, a lid, so you'll want to take off that seal or lid and then give it a good stir. So we are giving this a good stir here until it's nice and silky and smooth. If it's not the consistency of yogurt, it probably needs a squirt or two of water. Mine's a little on the thicker side, so I'm just going to grab my water bottle here. And this is a spritzer bottle. You can grab one of those also from my online shop, or you can just use a water bottle you have nearby, whatever is easiest. I love the spritzer because it's got a nice fine mist, and it really puts just the right amount of water in. So now I've got my stirring stick here and I've stirred up the paste. Now, just a little FYI about stirring the paste. Don't stir your paste with a wood stick, because the wood stick is going to actually draw the moisture out of your chalk paste and dry it up faster. So be sure to use a plastic utensil or one of our stir sticks if you have one. So once it is stirred to your liking, your consistency, and your board is all set to go. I had a couple of little pieces of chalk paste there. I usually take my stir stick, put a bit of paste on my stir stick, and actually dab a few spots of my transfer with the paste. And the reason I do that is it just makes it really easy for me to be able to smooth this out with my squeegee now. So I'm going to take my squeegee. You'll notice that it's got a tapered end. I usually recommend that you put your thumb on the Couture logo here, and then you basically pull your paste across the screen. So you're kind of spreading it. My friend Susan says it's kind of like buttering toast. So that's the idea, is you just want to pull the chalk paste across the screen. So here we go. We just want to make sure that we're covering all of that screened area. And right now, I am not squeegeeing off the excess. I am just making sure that I've got good coverage across the whole screen. You can see I have a lot of chalk paste left. I'm going to put that right back in the jar. And that way we'll be able to use it again another time. So now what I want to do is I really want to take this squeegee now and really pull up the excess. So you can see as I'm doing that, I'm pulling the chalk paste up and off of the screen, almost till I can see the words beneath again. And I want to make sure that as I'm pulling this up, that I'm not leaving any lines of paste, because we'll end up seeing those lines in our finished design if we do. So again, just putting all of that excess right back in the jar. And the last piece here, and everything looks good, I think. And then here comes the magic. We're going to take that corner And remember, we're not going to pull at the corner. We're going to actually pull and remove our design, our transfer from the middle. And slowly come back and reveal the design. Look at that. Isn't that cute? You know, I think one of the coolest details about this transfer is that little string there at the bottom. Can you see that? That little pole chain. Isn't that super cute? So that's it. That was so dang easy, right? So you're probably wondering, okay, now what? Well, this has gone on wet. As you can see, it was definitely a wet paste that we used. This, in a matter of a couple of minutes, is actually going to dry hard. Now, while it is drying, let me show you just how easy it is to clean up this project. And you can see literally how fast you can complete a project using Chalk Couture. All you need to clean up is just some water. So I've got a bowl right here, kind of a Pyrex dish. You know what, while I'm getting this prepared here, I'm gonna just put my 2 tools in there. And then I have a little bit of water here that I'm gonna pour into my bowl. Now you can use any water, regular water, doesn't have to be distilled water, nothing fancy. And you don't need tons either. I have my bowl, and then you know what, I've got my fuzzing cloth over here. And the other thing I have is my board eraser. I love the board eraser for helping to clean up my surfaces and my transfers. So they are a cute little 2-pack, and they do a great job in cleaning things up. Now, when you're using a darker color like black, yeah, obviously it's got a lot of pigment in it, of course, because it's a dark color. So you can give your squeegees a little extra TLC if you just take a Clorox wipe, and that will help clean up these little guys. Now, I also had some friends who told me that throwing them in the dishwasher in a little lingerie bag also keeps them all nice and clean as well. But there we go. So we've got those clean, all set to go. And then you can see we have some black residue in here from that leftover paste. No worries. We don't need to clean up this water before we put in our transfer. I had this just sticking here at the side of my desk waiting. Now, here's the sticky side. Here is the front side. I always recommend putting the sticky side into your water bath first. And this is especially helpful when you're working with a larger transfer. And that is because you don't want the transfer to stick to itself. And when you put the sticky side into the water bath first, that water is creating a barrier for that transfer so it doesn't stick to itself. So it's a great way to ensure that you're not getting your transfer to stick to itself. Now, I didn't have a lot of water here, as you can see, but enough to kind of get this going and get it clean. So I'm just going to put it over here, and then I'm just going to take this same Clorox wipe and get the rest of that residue off. Now, if you're doing this in your sink, which is my preferred place, but since I am in my office and not near my sink, I have a little water bath. But if you're doing this in your sink, you can do this right under running water and use those board erasers to just scrub off the excess paste. And as you can see, I did have some paste here still and left a little bit of residue on my fuzzing cloth, but no worries, that fuzzing cloth can go right back in the wash. Since I just put it in the wash, right? It's a good way to take it out again and keep everything nice and clean. You don't want anything to have any extra germs on it these days if we don't need them to, right? So there we go. And it's sticky again, as you see, as I'm working, it's pulling up and sticking on my fingers. I have another fuzzing cloth here. So I'm going to take that and show you how you can do kind of a quick dry You can do this with your fuzzing cloth, or you can do it with a paper towel. But this is basically just wiping this water, excess water off, so that we can replace this right back on the backer sheet. So remember, here's our backer sheet. And we have our sticky side, our glossy side where the sticky is going, and then we have this side. I find the easiest way to get your transfer back on your backer sheet is to do it while your transfer is laying down sticky side up. And there we go. So you'll see there's a little bit of residue on the outside of your transfer. No worries about that. It's not going to hurt its usage. You can definitely just use this again and again, and it will not hurt it. Just want to make sure your screen is clean. Now I also save these little guys that they come in, and I will just put it right back in here and hang all of my transfers so that when I want to use it again, I can grab it quickly. So if you're looking for a quick storage solution, keep these little plastic bags because they are awesome and they'll keep your transfers protected. There we go, like brand new, put it right back in and it's ready. So yeah, as you can see, my fuzzing cloth now needs to go into the wash. That's all right. And we're gonna empty that water. And if we come back over here, we'll see our finished design. And it's been a few minutes while we washed, and it is pretty dry. Feels a little tacky in some places, but it's not wet enough that it's coming off on my hands. So that's it, guys. That was how easy it is to work with Chalk Couture. Now, let me tell you, if you decide that this project was fun, you enjoyed it, you used it, and you put it in your bathroom maybe, and a few months down the line, there's a new design that comes out that you really love, and you don't want to buy another surface, guess what? You don't have to. That's the beauty of using our surfaces and our chalk paste, because with a little bit of water, it's going to come right up. So all we need to do is just spray it with water and then rub it with our board eraser, or you can even use, which is now my new favorite tool, our paste scraper. So just paste, you can just pull up your paste with the scraper. And that's it. So I hope that you enjoyed today's project. This was a quick one, but one that I think it will be fun to be able to try out yourself. If you love this board or this design, you can check them out in my online store. And that is chalkcouture.com/Timmy. And if you need that link sent to you, just let me know. You can put in shop there in the comments. And if you have any questions about our incredible specials and deals that are going on right now, feel free to reach out to me. Be happy to share more about those with you. Lots of great things going on. Please be sure to like my page, and that way you'll be notified every time I post new content or I go live. Generally speaking, I do that once a day or so with a new project, or I'll push a video like this one to you so that you can watch and we can interact. So I would love it if you would help share and spread the chalk love. As you do, you get entered into my drawing weekly for some happy mail from me. So until next time, everybody, take good care of yourselves and stay healthy. Thanks, everybody.